Gal Chris here with 5 mistakes job seekers make and 1 bonus point that can turn it all around for you. The first mistake that job seekers make is thinking that the job you're applying for is going to lead to a promotion. Because in my experience, many employers say, I hired you for this position and this position is what I want you to fill. I don't want you having ideas that you're going to go into another position. And it's not fair. It's not a very nice thing to do, but that's the way life is, it seems. So I would say don't expect to get a promotion. If apply for the job that you want, and if you don't have enough experience for that job, then by all means, apply for the job you're qualified for, get more experience, and then apply for a job somewhere else. I mean, you could tell your employer, look, this is the job I want. I want to be promoted to this. And if you're not going to ever make that available to me, then I will need to go somewhere else. And perhaps that will get them to let you, advance in your career. But I can't tell you how many times I've heard, no, this is the job I want you to fill. I don't want to promote you out of it. So, number 2, the second mistake job seekers make is undervaluing your skills. Now, some people make the opposite mistake and overvalue their skills. Like they think, well, I'm so wonderful. I don't know why anybody wouldn't hire me. Well, get over yourself. But some of us tend to undervalue our skills because we feel like everybody does these things. But what we don't understand is that actually, no, not everybody does these kinds of things. Not everybody knows the things you know. Not everybody's as good at certain things as you are. So don't overvalue your skills, but don't undervalue them either. Tell it like it is. The third mistake that job seekers make is not being themselves in the interview. You want to come off as the perfect candidate and you want to give the right answers. Well, nobody's the perfect candidate. And bosses or employers, they see so many people. And if you come across sounding like everybody else, it's not a good look. So don't try to be the perfect candidate. Be yourself. And for those of you who are Christians, pray about it and trust God to give you the right answers to give during an interview. I've had, the Lord has helped me several times. And I always say, it's in your hands, Lord. I'm just help me not to mess it up. However you want it to go, that's what I want to. The fourth mistake job seekers make is expecting diamond pay for rhinestone work. In other words, if it takes minimal skills to do the job, you're going to get minimal pay. And don't be expecting better than that. If you want a better job, get better skills. You want more money? Get better skills. This is one thing that irritates me so much, is people saying, oh, minimum wage needs to be raised. Minimum wage should be $20 an hour. No, it should not. It should never have gone any higher than $5 an hour, in my opinion. Because minimum wage is not designed to be a living wage. If you want a living wage, you get the skills and work your way up to a job that pays you a living wage. You can't sit there and go, oh, well, but I just really love flipping burgers at McDonald's and I should be paid a lot of money for that. No, you should not. Because jobs in the fast food industry, and I'm not talking about like management positions. Of course, if you're a manager, you're going to get paid more. But there again, if you want the money, you need to have the job that pays the money. Not flipping burgers, not running a cash register. it really, really irritates me because people don't seem to understand. You raise minimum wage, that causes the companies to have more expenses, which causes them to raise their prices, which means now that your minimum wage has gone up, the prices have gone up, which means that your new minimum wage isn't any better than the old minimum wage was. So stop trying to screw up the economy by raising minimum wage. Sorry, got off on a little rant there, but it just really irks me that people cannot understand this simple concept. Number 5, the 5th mistake job seekers make is thinking that a college degree is going to be the golden ticket to wealth. Sorry, but no. Now, if you've gone and become a doctor, or if you've become a lawyer, yeah, you'll probably get paid pretty good for that. But if you just get like a college degree, for instance, in liberal arts or history or English, like I did, that's not necessarily your golden ticket to wealth. Now, yes, you can become a teacher and make some really darn good money doing that. But, in practicality, the real world, a college education is not that vital. Most jobs require a high school diploma. So if you're in high school, I suggest and recommend you finish high school. Because, yeah, you can get a GED later, but it's really tough because you have a lot of studying to do and cramming for the test. And why put yourself through that when it's just as easy to float your way through high school, get your diploma, and you're done? So that is my advice to high schoolers and younger than high schoolers. But it's up to you whether you want to go to college. Now, college can be a rewarding experience. You can learn some things that you didn't know before. But number one, don't expect it to be all fun, because it's not all about, I get to learn all about the thing that I'm interested in. True, you will get that to do that. But first, you have to get through all the same kinds of classes that you had to do in high school. You have to get through college algebra and your English classes and certain science classes. And then, you might have to take a foreign language. They start you off with this well-rounded education type thing, and then you can learn the specialized things. So it's not all fun, and it is expensive. So think about what your goals are for your career and your life. Because, for instance, if you are really good at inventing things, you don't need a college education to do that. Just invent your things. You'll need money, of course, to patent them, but, there are things you can do without a college education. Or if you like doing somebody's hair, you like doing people's hair, you like doing their nails, something like that, you can go to, they used to call it beautician school. I don't know if they call it that anymore, but you can do that, and, you'll make pretty good money, and you get tips. If you like being a waitress or waiter, there are high-end restaurants that you can work at, and you get big tips there, and it can be a very lucrative career. So don't feel like you're limited to having to go to college to get a good job. And now for our bonus tip. A lot of times people don't know how to turn a negative into positives. So, and every employer, and I don't know why they do this because it's such a jaded old question. A lot of times they'll ask, what is your biggest weakness? I hate that question. Well, you're not going to answer with an actual weakness. Or you can, as long as you know to turn it into a positive. For instance, I could say, I'm lazy. But that's a plus because that motivates me to find the most efficient way of doing something. So it's not that, I'm not going to do the work. It's that I'm going to find the most efficient and effective way of doing the work so that it doesn't take me all day to do one task, which is a plus for the employer as well, because they would rather have somebody who can get something done in 10 minutes instead of somebody who sits there and works on it for half an hour when they don't need to take that long. Have you been a job hopper? Like, you're not happy here, so you go to the next job and the next job and the next job. Well, you can use that to your advantage too by saying you were seeking a variety of other experiences and other growth, and that makes you a more valuable employee because you've had these other experiences and you've grown in these ways. All right, so that is it for this time. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, take care of yourself because nobody else will.